this for May 2015. This is our monthly discussion of the comics that we think deserve your attention. I'm Seth.
I'm Nick.
I'm Colby.
This is part one, our favorite first issues of the month, where we give you 4 new stories you can jump right into.
As a group, we decided on one first issue to feature. However, we have some other books that we didn't want to go unnoticed. Nick?
I'll kick it off. My runner-up for favorite first is Baltimore, The Cult of the Red King. This is by Mike Mignola. I had never heard of this character, Baltimore, Lord Baltimore.
He's awesome.
I am not familiar with much of Mike Mignola's books, and if you read the review I wrote for this book, it's on the website, www.coverjudger.com.
Moviereference.com.
What is it? No.
I'm so confused.
I'm pretty sure that this is the very first Mike Mignola comic legend book I've ever opened and read. And I thought this was a new character, and then the internet and Colby told me that I am very wrong and he has tons of adventures. Things I liked about this first issue, old school adventure. I really like that it's 3 dudes scouring Europe or something.
By ship.
Looking for a rumored hidden library. And what are their means to open it up? A sledgehammer. There's something romantic about these old, low-tech Indiana Jones adventure stories. And I just hadn't read one in a while, maybe. I loved it. The story takes place mostly on a boat, and it introduces you to characters that we should probably already know. I felt 20% lost, but it made me excited about getting to know the characters in the Baltimore universe. So it was kind of a slow show as well, but I think it'll build up to something great.
Yeah.
I know Colby read it. Have you ever read anything by Mike Mignola?
I don't understand the question.
Mike Mignola is this writer. How about you, Seth?
I chose this month Material number 1 as my runner-up. This is a new book by Ilse Cott. It is 4 stories about seemingly unrelated characters dealing with, I don't know if it's crises, but they're all going through traumatic experience at this moment. The first story is about a college professor who seems to detest the technological direction that our society is going. The second one is an actress who's coked up and gets a job with a weird director, and the relationship is unknown at this point. Third one is a young black kid who's protesting police in Chicago and gets detained and beaten up. And the third story is a former prisoner of Guantanamo returning home and trying to live a normal life. This book is very real. It avoids a lot of convoluted aspects of Ilse Cott work that I feel like we all enjoy Ilse Cott, but
look at his Twitter. If you look at Ilse Cott's Twitter and then think, I really want to read a book he writes, this is probably for you.
We read Surface, we are reading Surface, and I think we all agree that it's kind of convoluted and a mess. But I think Material is, some of us anyway.
A mess is a stretch. I know, Colby likes it probably the most out of all of us.
Material seems to be taking a lot of these ideas that he presents on his Twitter feed and a bunch of his other books.
Every second of every day.
And kind of cutting into them, not relying on them wholeheartedly, which I enjoyed. It doesn't come off as dorm room philosophy or flavor of the month.
Yeah, sounds like real world representations. I haven't read it.
Yeah, and there's a few scenes that comment on stuff that's going on today. I really enjoyed it. It seemed real. The characters have room to grow, and they seem like real people. So that's why I chose material number 1.
Some of my favorite parts of it, real quick, the layout. You
Layout's
get
very good.
you get these 2 pages. It's almost like a splash page, but it's obviously like panels. You get these 2 pages of one story, which there are 4 in this. And then you turn the page and you get the next story, and also, as you were talking about sci-fi tropes, he literally just explains what he's referencing. At the bottom of every page, there's a list of books for us to read.
Yeah.
I don't know
Movies to watch.
Yeah, movies to watch. One of them just says, "Read anything by fucking Blabbity Blue,"
So
and
it's like a bibliography.
Yeah.
it's
very much
a
so.
very much
kind of taking
quick.
taking all of the media that he's consumed dealing with this stuff and throwing it out there and being like, this is how my ideas have like grown
The
from
dude's
reading
smart.
these books. And
It's-
I agree, he's smart.
Oh, he's super smart.
But it's a comic book foremost, and I'm not saying that comic books can't take on,
Yeah, what the fuck
Bigger
is that
ideals.
space supposed to mean?
because I think that's true. But it's funny because a lot of his issues are about materialism. He's selling something right
Yeah.
now. He's selling this comic book. I bought this comic book with money, and he's profiting.
Is
off
it
that.
made of? Oh yeah, it's material.
See? And I don't know. It's just I think he gets his tone right in this one.
He's gone on the Twitter saying,
This is the book he wants to write. So,
Seth finishes my sentence. He said he could write it forever,
yeah.
is what it is. That's awesome.
And it definitely seems like it seems like an anthology.
Well, as long as social issues keep coming up, which, who knows?
No end in sight.
That's forever.
Forever and ever. So that was my pick for runner-up of the month. Colby, what was your choice?
Arcadia. We have an ever mutating papillomavirus. It's got to be worse than HPV. It's wiped out about 7 billion people. There's about 150 million humans left still kind of fighting the virus. They have saved 4 billion people by downloading their minds, from what I can tell, into a server. So there's some political aspects of preserving this. Everybody's family members. There's 150 million people left that all their loved ones are on a server. And the server is the Matrix-like element. You and I were talking about it earlier. It definitely, there is a Matrix, like dead-on Matrix element to it with the teenage daughter. But it is a very small part of it. There's some geopolitical stuff that would be consequences of living in a world like this. There is a 99%, 1% element to it where the 1% can afford things like a reboot of something destroyed, or, there's even a teenage joke about zits. Certain aspects the 1% can't afford.
1% can afford.
Can afford.
Can.
Yeah.
Extra pixels. Room for
The
zits.
99% can't afford the extra pixels. Room for zits.
Who wants those?
So Colby, where do you think Arcadia is going?
That's a great question, Seth. I think they've obviously developed a server to preserve life. There should be, nothing in the programming that would cause death or early extinction, let's say. And there's a glitch. There's clearly a glitch, and quite possibly it's somebody hacking or somebody harnessing kind of Matrix-like powers. We don't know yet, but there is definitely a flaw in what the original intent of this server and saving 4 billion people, whether virtually or not. There's a glitch. So it's Lee Pepper is our main character. He is actually one of the lucky ones. They thought he was dying, so they downloaded him into the meat, but he lived. So now he's in both places. So he has his digital self kind of rearing his family in this digital world, but he's also chief operations in the meat. So that's definitely going to come into play. So as far as beyond that and where it's going to go, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to pick up the second issue, which I did actually today. Enough about Arcadia. Seth, what did we choose as a group?
Collectively, we chose Dead Drop #1 as our favorite first issue of the month. It is a race against the clock action story. A virus is loose in the hands of an anarchist group, and the Unity team is commissioned to track it down and isolate it. And in this first issue, we see Exo Man of War. He is the first of the heroes to try and hunt it down. And really, it's just a chase through Manhattan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this book does really well. It's another L. Scott book, which is kind of
Who's L. Scott?
this month's theme.
JK.
But
We know.
I think in the terms of action in comics and movies, what sets good action stories apart is how well they depict action, which is kind of straightforward, but a lot of movies don't do it well.
Absolutely.
When a good action scene is executed, there doesn't need to be description of any kind. It's just we know what's happening, we know what the goal is, and we know every step along the way what's happening,
Yeah.
where we're going, where we've been, and this does just that. I was reminded of the first scene of Drive reading this comic, where
Nice.
we
Yeah.
just we're thrown right into it. He's running through the city, and we know what's happening. We get little snippets, maybe hints at things to come, but ultimately this is a story of Exo Manowar just running through the streets trying to corral this young woman who has the virus.
So you have to give props to Adam Gorham because the way he does the paneling, etc., is pretty unique, actually. And,
It's kinetic.
And yeah, that's a good word.
Kinetics.
Very
one
kinetic.
The one frame where the young girl's like jumping through the frame. She jumps
Super cool.
against the light
Well,
post
and the fact that this Exo Man of War has this awesome alien suit that allows him magnificent superpowers, and he's having trouble keeping up with a teenager doing parkour throughout Manhattan. It's pretty cool. It's pretty freaking fantastic.
Something I've seen a lot of discussions about is artist depiction in comic books of chases. This is something that like goes back to when I started reading comic books. Dead Body Road. One of the big things Justin Jordan always talked about is no comic depicts a car chase well, whatever. But in this one, they go for a more parkour sort of chase, but it's so effective. It's so kinetic. It was just everything about it is exciting. It's an action comic.
It's very much so. And I like the setup of this book. It's 4 issues. Each issue, one character is going to be trying to like hunt this virus down. At the end of this issue, we get a reason why Exo can't like continue on the chase.
Yeah.
She eludes him, and he is kind of shut down.
Tagged out.
Yeah, I feel like
She'll probably be tagged out too.
I think as the issues come, it's going to build to something bigger. After reading this and reading Divinity, I get the sense that MI6 and the Unity Squad are kind of not on the level. They're not like the good guys necessarily, even though these are the heroes that we're following.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
feel
interesting.
Yeah,
It's-
I hear that for sure. I think you're accurate there. I feel like the heroes or the squad itself might be united,
Yeah,
but that they might be being led astray
Exactly.
by their leader.
I really liked the action. I'm not well versed in Exo Man of War, and just seeing him run through the streets frantically after this teenager, it seems like, made me like him more. Like, he could have been James Bond. He didn't necessarily need some sort of powerful Martian suit in order to catch this person. He needed to be quick and smart, and I mean, at the end, he's not bested as much as he is just out of commission. That map at the beginning, though, it tells you page for page. I
Where
hope
these
it's
people are gonna
flashing
happen.
right now on the screen where everyone is on these
the
Act- like
scene
these
progression
weird-
and like
It gave
where
me the
they are
sense
in
of
the
like
world.
looking at Manhattan on your iPhone. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And these people running from block
Your
to
Uber.
block.
It's like a guided tour. Yeah, it's awesome.
Which is cool.
That's ill-fated Uber path.
So those were our favorite first issues of the month. Thanks for watching part 1 of the hits for April. Part 2 and 3 to follow will hit on our favorite comics of the month, and we might get into some Secret
Okay, we have a
Wars
problem. You
discussion.
said April and it's May.
Fuck.
Yeah.
April? I
April.
said April in the fucking beginning.
Then
I
just do
definitely
it
did.
right now. It's fine.
Just say May twice and he'll edit it in.
Just give me a couple good.
May. May.
May. May.
May.
Have like a little May. Hi.
No, Aunt May.
Aunt May. Aunt May. All right.
I did that.
Fuck. God damn it. I wrote April right there. So those were our favorite first issues of the month of May. Thanks for watching part 1 of Cover Judges the Hits. Part 2 and 3 to follow will cover our favorite comics of the month, and we might get into a discussion of Secret Wars.
Would have been on my favorite first. Just saying.
Thanks for watching.
It's not a secret.